G'day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the beginning of another week in our markets. They don't stop. They won't stop. We keep on grinding on. I hope you had a fantastic weekend. I had a pretty good weekend. Some fun times were had. Anyway, I wanted to break down our top 10 to start the week off as we do come into the close of another trading week, just to sort of have a look to see what sort of things could I envision happening this week and how would I play it out. So let's get into it. Okay, so first things first, Bitcoin's still in a weekly downtrend. We can clearly see the lower highs and the lower lows with massive divergence, I will add. However, as we're approaching a couple of what should I say? We are approaching a couple of regions of significance, I'd call them, and it's how we react to these regions of significance that's going to affect the trading plan for this week. Now, first things first, I know it's just one test, but this low of June 18, 2022, I see this as being a potential level to be aware of. Now, why is that? Because it was the low. And I know there's no second test through here. It's just a region. I'm just keeping my eyes on that to see what goes on, because we have seen, I've witnessed this many times before, where a market retests those levels and finds resistance at those levels. We're going to wait and see how that plays out. As the week goes, we're up 4%. Not too bad. It's nice to see, a little bit of gaining coming back in. Obviously, what I'd like to see would be this. Woo! Back up here. I don't see that being on the cards anytime soon. But all I'm really after is a bit more consistency with our trends. And we have seen an enormous sell-off. I mean, you can go back through some of the other videos that I've done in the past, the past few weeks, about talking about the size of the move, 77%. You can go back through history and see how often or how far back these markets have pulled back in the past to give yourself an idea of, have we met the lows? Now, I'm not here to tell you we have. I'm also not here to tell you that we have not. What I am here to say is that we have had a very large fall, and it wouldn't surprise me to get a bit more of a rally, even if it's just something like this. Now, don't forget that this little rally over here off of those lows, now we're going off the 18 lows to its peak, it climbed 43%. And there's plenty of tradable opportunity in a 43% move. I'm hopeful that we get to see something like this over here, and it'll be nice to see 20,000 around Christmas. Let's have a look by going lower and seeing just what we've got on our daily. We've got a higher low, we've got a higher high, and I'm actually quite impressed with how this market is held. I'm very satisfied with the way this chart has played back in with a higher low here, or potential higher low. Now, the weekends have typically been relatively quiet over the last, months, really. We were down on Saturday 1.2%. This is our Sunday candle with 15 minutes to go, and that represents a 1.3% gain so far. So pretty much the weekend is sat in its spot, not doing a great deal at all. What I do like is obviously the higher low to higher high, a little bit of a pullback here, shallow pullback. I like that. Be nice to see it ripping, trampoline off of this level. And what I'd like to see is if we can take out the high of today's candle. First and foremost, we've got to take out that 17,308 to take the trend to new highs, new daily trend highs, and then push up through 17,555. This region I've been talking about. We get up through there. There's no real reason why we can't make 18.5 by the end of the week. And that's what I'd like to see. Now, what does that entail? That entails Bitcoin to be moving to 9%, 8%. All right. And we know Bitcoin can do that. I mean, last week we saw from the low to the high exactly that. So to see another leg up like this through here would be very, very welcome. It would solidify that trend. Why 18.5, you might ask? Well, that just gives us a very good higher high. Would still have strong convergence, and it would be a really nice move to get us going. So I'd love to see us take out the high of this candle first. The next level to watch is taking out the high taking out this high here in the trend. Then we got to break 17.5. Then we got a bit of a clear run for the rest of the week. It'd be nice to see that all happen today to get up through both of these with a good 3 or 4% move. That'd be ideal, really. But we may not get that. So I'll move from the daily, which is in an uptrend, weekly in a downtrend, daily in an uptrend, and I'll come down to the 4 hour. And you can see with the 4 hour, it's messy. It's been very, very messy indeed. There's not really much, there's no cyclicity there. The 2 hour might see a little bit more of a trend. There it is, higher low pushing up here. But as we go lower, it's still got this spiky characteristic that I don't love. I do not love that spikiness. Look at that. I mean, look at these lower time frames, the 15. Look at that. It's spotty. It's not what I'm looking for. Even you go across to other charts, it's showing the same. So it's not just a volume glitch on one particular platform. It is looking relatively unbalanced. And again, that's why I want to see the market drive through, carry that trend with it, and give us opportunity. So Bitcoin, not much going on now, but more so looking at the setup on these higher timeframes. We could see, if we can take out these levels I spoke of, we could see a very good week this week. On to Ethereum next, which did sell off Saturday significantly, 4.3%. Ethereum also in a daily uptrend and a nice bounce back today. Let's look at the 12-hour. Sadly, there was not really anything to trade because we went high to low. If I look at the weekly here, you'll still see the weekly in a downtrend. You'll also note that these lows that we've been setting as the price has made new lows, MACD has not on the weekly. So very similar to that of Bitcoin, which is of no surprise really. I'm not suggesting that the selling has ended, but it is definitely starting to slow down, with Ethereum up 7.3% just this week alone as we come into the close. So what I'd like to see is really just pretty much something similar to Bitcoin. I'd like to see this candle break to the high, that is the current day's candle, break the high of that, and then push to new highs, carrying us through to, maybe even $1,500 by the end of the week. Again, I'm not suggesting this will happen. I'm looking at the trend that we have, and I'm willing it on. And that's the best scenario for me at the moment, because we do have a daily trend. I want these trends to continue higher because we do have that daily backing it up. If you look at the 4 on Ethereum, also still very messy. You can drop to the 2 and you will see a higher low here. But again, we need to see more of that buying to open these trends up so that we've got something to actually work with that we're satisfied with. Binance has been a bit of a wet rag of late. Of course, there's been some massive volatility on Binance. It's now stabilized. It's very, very slow. There's nothing to speak of on that daily. And the weekly, as you can see, is actually going to close down 4.9% or thereabouts. For Binance to become interesting again, from my standpoint, well, from where we are right now, we need to take out this high of 317.90 thereabouts, push through there, and we got a lot more going for it. XRP's also been pretty sideways. The difference with XRP to Binance is that we've been sort of sitting in this price action a little bit longer. So Binance has just been chopping. If you see here, it's just sort of been grinding away. Whereas XRP, yes, we did see a pullback here to create a higher low. Then we've got a lower high and a potential higher low. So really, realistically, depending on what we see here with XRP, we could see it push above this high here of 41.1, and that would give us a daily uptrend. The same could be said that if we break down through this level here of 37.2, we'd have a daily downtrend. Either way, if it moves in either direction, we're going to have a daily trend, and that's going to open up options for us. Excuse me. Onto the weekly now, which is going to show up fairly messy. We do have a bearish candle in that cradle zone. We do have support down around these levels as well. So fairly strong support around, call it 31-ish cents. Bearish candle in that cradle zone. It could set up the fall. Again, the weekly's telling me about as much as the daily. It could do this, it could do that. Until it does it, we're not going to know. And as far as going lower, well, there's really no substance there. There's no level. If there was a level building in here, I'd be interested, but there just is not. So we can leave XRP and move on to Doge. And Doge up 4.84%. It's been an interesting one, Doge. I tell you what, this thing just keeps on grinding. Look at this move through here. We're looking at this from back, what was that, the 21st of November. Low to high, we're talking a 55% move. Just grounded, just been pushing higher. Now, this is the first pullback that we've witnessed on this Doge move. Now, if we push above this high here, which is at 11 cents, let's call it, we'd then have ourselves in a daily uptrend, and that could open us up for all sorts of options. Onto our weekly chart, last week had a very good week, up 28%. This week, not so bad, 5.8%. And again, the weekly represents a potential for a higher low. Of course, it's not going to be a higher high till we break up through that 16-cent mark. Dropping lower, we do have a higher low. We do have a 4-hour uptrend, but much the same as a lot of the market, I do want to see it carry itself through. In the 1 hour here, higher low here, carry yourself through. Then we can look to buy the next pullbacks. We've got to wait until we get that signal, though. Next up is Cardano, which is pretty quiet. You can see it's almost like it wants to be winding up. We do have a higher low. We got a higher high. We just now need to see this thing commit to more upside. It's not done that for quite some time. And I'm going to jump to the 4 and see, is there any levels or any trend? There really isn't. There is a trend. Again, we need to push on and extend this move higher. As far as the weekly goes, well, you can see quite clearly it's very divergent, but it has been trending down on that weekly, and it is still looking very much like that. This week, it's popped up 3%. Not a great deal. No damage really done as far as this downtrend on the weekly. So again, we wait for Cardano. Matic is in a daily uptrend, pullback here, higher high, getting a bit blocky in there, like a bit of a barcode, but not looking too bad. Again, I'd like to see this push on to new highs. If I jump straight to the weekly, you'll see it's had a pretty good week, up 9.38%. Now let's jump to the 4 and have a look at what we've got. Very little indeed. Again, we need to see this step out. And we don't, what we saw here was a pull, but we went low to high. We've seen a little bit of a pullback here to a new high, but it needed to run higher and then pull back. This is not a tradable zone for me at this stage. So Matic, waiting to see what it does. It is in a daily uptrend, though, I will say that. Oh, and also on the weekly, coming back to that, we don't have a weekly uptrend. We don't have a weekly downtrend. So just to confirm that there's not much to see on the weekly. On to DOT, which I suspect might look better on the lower time frames. We'll jump to the weekly first, though. Up 5.7% today, still in a weekly downtrend with lower lows and lower highs. Again, very divergent there. Onto our daily, well, there's not really much to speak of. A bit of a higher low to higher high, but it's when we go to the 12, we might start to see better cyclicity. Ooh, higher low, higher high, higher low, pushing on. If we can extend ourselves out here, we'll look really, really nice. What does the 8 do? It's a bit of a shame there, isn't it? The 8 had a lovely push higher. Where's that level through here I was looking at? There we go. Look. Support region, then resistance, right? Came back to it. A small bullish candle there could have represented opportunity over the weekend. However, it did not. But you can see a clear trend has been formed here, and a drive to the upside would then open us up for trading opportunities on those pullbacks. We'll go now to the 1 hour and see if there's any levels around. Bummer. There was a bit of a level forming. It's just pushed through. So backing right out now onto DOT. Again, there is a trend there. I'd like to see this move to the upside. So far, the message I'm getting from the market is that further upside would be good for traders. Not from a standpoint of I want to see my bags increase in value. Of course, I want that. But from a standpoint of cyclicity in the market and tradable trends. Solana up 3.2% today. Let's look at the weekly. Still down this week, 2.5% after being up 15% last week after the very big sell-off, of course. It's so muted. Look at how muted this thing is. It's so sideways. I know there's been some decent moves, but they're just overshadowed by these ginormous falls that we've seen, during the month of November, early stages. We'll jump lower now to the 4. Again, very sideways. This is not a trend, not a market that I'd be interested in trading at this stage. If it does continue to climb, we get some decent cyclicity set in these lowers, then sure. But for the time being, ain't much going on there with Solana. And we'll round it out with Shiba, which is also fairly muted, very sideways. I notice this thing does that at times. It can get really grindy, like through here. We're building up very, very much at the moment. Not doing a great deal. The weekly, well, up 1% so far this week with 4 minutes to go. So not much to speak of there on Shiba Inu. Or I don't even know how to say it. And the 4 hour, that's a perfect story there. Very, very choppy, very, very ugly, not very pretty at all. So look, my take across looking at the entire top 10 right now is that, yeah, there could be some options coming up. But before we're going to get those good trading options, we're going to first need to see further upside. That further upside is going to help because we've got daily trends to the upside on many of our top 10s. Now, this will be mirrored across much of the market, I would suggest as well. Now, I just need to see these mid to lower timeframes start to really stretch themselves out. Then I'll have the conditions to go ahead and be looking for my trades. Because I hope that top 10 deep dive helped, looking at the weeklies and what could occur for the week. Hopefully, the best case scenario would be we'd see 18.5 by the end of the week, or even better than that, further upside. But we'll wait and see what goes on. It's sitting on a knife edge. Monday today is the first trading day where traders are back properly and the weekend has passed. Have a great week. Make the most of it. And if you haven't already, join us on our Become a Trader course. Totally free. Enjoy. Take care. Bye for now.